Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this video, I'll show you how to create these social media icons using HTML and CSS. And we also have this hover effect. So when we hover over these buttons, we can see that the social media handle of that platform is displayed over here. So let's go ahead and design this using HTML and CSS in this video. Let's get started. Right here I have created this folder called social buttons and I just opened it with VS Code. Now let's create the necessary file. So let's click on new file. Let's create a new file called index.html and let's create another file called style.css. And let's start with the index.html file. Now in VS Code you can just type exclamation and press tab and you'll have this basic HTML5 code. And let's link our CSS file over here. So let's type link and press tab, and here in the href I'll just type style.css. Right, now let's start with the markup of our design. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a container division. So let's create a division and let's give it a class of social buttons container. And in that, for each of these buttons, we'll create anchor tags because we want them to be links. So let's create an anchor tag and we'll also give it a class. So let's give it a class of social button. And in this anchor tag, we will add this icon and also the text that we see over here. Now for the icon, we will create a division with the class of cover. So let's create a division with the class of cover. And in this, we will add the icon. And after that, let's create another division and let's give it a class of inner. And here we will just add this handle. So here I'll just tap @John for the first one. And I'll just go ahead and copy this. And let's paste it 2 more times. Now you can add any number of social media icons you want over here. And here we can see for the second one, we have this handle John_official. So let's add that over here. And now let's go ahead and get the icons. So let's go ahead and get the icons from Font Awesome. So let's get the CDN. So you can just search for Font Awesome CDN on Google and you'll find this link of cdnjs.com. So let's go to that link. And let's copy this link of all.min.css. So let's click on copy link tag, or I'll just click on copy URL. And let's go ahead and create a link tag. And here in the href, I'll just paste the URL. And now here we can use the Font Awesome icons. So if you go to the Font Awesome website, so let's click on fontawesome.com. And let's go over here to icons. And let's search for an icon. So let's search for Instagram. And here we can see we have all these icons. So let's click on this icon right here. And here we have this code that we can use for the icon. So let's click on this to copy it. And let's paste it over here. And now let's open this in our browser. So I have this extension called Live Server installed in VS Code. So once you have this extension installed, you can just right click over here in the HTML and click on Open with Live Server. And here we can see that the icon is being displayed. Now let's go ahead and copy this line of code. And let's paste it over here for the second one. And this is for Twitter. So here instead of Instagram, we need to type Twitter. So if you type Twitter and if you go back, here we can see that the Twitter icon is being displayed, but it is the old icon. So let's go ahead and type X Twitter. So this is the new name. And here we have the new icon over here. And let's go ahead and copy this and paste it down here. And this one is for, I think it is Facebook. So let's change this to Facebook. And now we can see all the icons are being displayed. So with that, I think we have completed writing the HTML. Now let's go ahead and start with the CSS. So we have already linked the CSS over here. So let's go to the CSS file. And let's start by adding some styles to the container division, which has a class of social buttons container. So let's type social buttons container. And the first thing we will do is we'll set the font family to Roboto and sans serif. And then let's go ahead and set a margin of 30 pixels. And I'll just bring this to the right side. And now we need to display all these icons one next to the other. So let's go ahead and set the display to flex. And let's give it a gap of 16 pixels between the elements. Right now, let's go ahead and style the buttons. So here we can see we have this anchor tag with a class of social btn. So let's target that. I'll just type social btn. And let's go ahead and give it a background color. And let's set it to EDF2F4. And let's add a padding of 12 pixels top and bottom and 32 pixels left and right. And now let's go ahead and set a border radius, and let's set it to 8 pixels for rounded corners. Let's remove the underline. So let's tap text decoration and let's set it to none. And let's set the color of the text to 1D3557. And let's set the font weight to bold. And let's also add the box shadow, and let's set the values to inset, because we need to add the box shadow inside this division. So here we can see we have this box shadow inside this. So let's go ahead and type inset, and here let's type 0, negative 10 pixels, 7 pixels, negative 8 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0 and 0.2. Now we can see we have this box shadow inside the element. Right now, the next thing we need to do is we need to set the position of this icon relative to this social button anchor tag. So here we can see we have this icon which has a division with a class of cover. So let's go ahead and set the position of this container, which is social button, to relative. And now we can go ahead and target the cover. So let's type social button cover. And let's set the position to absolute, and let's set it to inset 0, so that the left, right, top and bottom positions are set to 0. And now let's bring this to the center. So for that, let's set the display to flex and align items to the center and justify content to the center. And now let's add a background color. So let's type background, and let's set the value to EDF2F4. And let's also increase the size. So let's type font size, and let's set it to 26 pixels. And let's add a border radius to this as well. So let's type 8 pixels. And now when we hover over this, we need to rotate it and bring it down. So let's add a hover effect. So let's type social button colon hover cover. And here we will tap transform, rotate X, and let's set the angle to 140 degrees, and we will add a smooth transition. So let's tap transition over here, and let's set it to all 400 milliseconds ease. Right now, let's go ahead and test it out. So if you hover over this, we can see that it is being rotated, but the transform origin is in the center, so that's why it is rotating in the center. It is not moving down. So here we need to type transform origin, and we need to set it to center bottom. And now let's try it. So let's hover over this, and now we can see that it is being rotated correctly. And now when we hover over this, we also want to add some shadow and also this border at the bottom, so that it looks like a 3D shape. So let's go ahead and add a box shadow, and let's set the values to 0, negative 8 pixels, 30 pixels, negative 2 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0 and 0.2. And now when we hover over this, we can see that we have this box shadow. And let's also add a border bottom. So let's type border bottom, and let's set the value to 4 pixels solid, and let's set the color to B0, B0, B0. Right now, let's go ahead and hover over this, and since this is rotated, we should now have the border at the top. So let's change this to border top. And now if you hover over this, we can see that the animation is working correctly. So that's basically how you can create this hover animation using HTML and CSS. Now here you can go ahead and add the links of your social media pages over here instead of these hashes. Alright, so that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.